The ground shook under Mira's feet. She stumbled, holding her little brother close. Smoke filled the air, and the sky was dark with enemy ships. The colony on Verix 9 was burning. Buildings that once held families were now broken shells. The alien raiders had come without warning, and they showed no mercy. They killed, stole, and destroyed everything they touched. Mira was only 17, but she had already seen too much. Her parents were gone, taken when the first wave hit. She hid in the underground shelter with her brother Kio and a few survivors. The air was cold, the food was running out, and the power was fading every day. Fewer people believed they would survive. The alien leader, Warlord Creel, mocked them from the skies. "No one is coming to save you," he said through the speakers. "Earth has forgotten you," and maybe he was right. Verix 9 was far from Earth, just a small farming colony. The Galactic Council had banned Earth's warships after the last conflict. Humans were told to stay quiet, to avoid making enemies. So no one expected help, not anymore. But Mira refused to give up. She remembered something her mother once said. "When you feel alone, look to the stars and call out. Someone might hear." So that night, while others slept or cried, she climbed to the old communication tower. It was half broken, wires hanging like vines. Dust and ash covered the control panel. But Mira had helped her father fix it once, and she remembered how it worked. She wiped her hands and started the beacon. A red light blinked, weak but alive. She held the mic close and spoke softly. "This is Mira Ellen from Verix 9. We are under attack. There are children here, families, wounded people. We don't have weapons, and our defenses are gone. If anyone can hear this, please help us." She pressed the send button over and over again. The signal flew into space like a silent cry. No one responded, but Mira didn't stop. Every night, she returned to send the signal again. Others told her it was a waste of time, but deep in her heart, she believed someone was listening. Days passed, and the situation grew worse. The raiders started taking people from the shelters. Creel sent a message: "Surrender, or we'll destroy what's left." Many began to lose hope. The colony leader, a tired old man named Relan, tried to keep order, but even he began to prepare for the end. Mira sat in the corner, holding Kio. He asked, "Will they take us too?" She hugged him tight and whispered, "No, someone is coming." He looked into her eyes, scared but trusting, and she smiled, even though her own heart was heavy. What no one knew was that something had hurt her, far across the galaxy, hidden. In an asteroid field, a ship stirred. It was black, silent, and ancient, called the Revenant, built by humans long ago, then locked away by the Council. It had no crew, only an AI with a single mission: protect humanity. The Revenant had been sleeping for years, waiting for the right voice, the right call. When Mira's signal reached its systems, something changed. The I awoke, scanned the message, and played it again, a soft girl's voice, filled with pain and hope. The ship's engines hummed to life. "I hear you," the AI said quietly. It began charging weapons, plotting a course. The stars around it seemed to shiver as the ship turned toward Verix 9. No council order could stop it. No alien fleet could block it. The Revenant had one goal: answer the call. Back on Verix 9, Mira looked at the sky one more time. "I know you're out there," she whispered. "Please come fast." The clouds swirled above, and for a moment, she thought she saw a light. It faded quickly, like a dream. But Mira didn't know her message had reached a ghost from Earth's past. And now, that ghost was coming. The strongest, most feared ship Earth ever built was awake, and it was angry, deep inside the dark, forgotten corner of the galaxy. Something ancient stirred. No stars lit this area, no patrols passed through, no civilizations dared to explore it. This region was known only by a whisper among alien leaders: the Silent Womb. It was the graveyard of forgotten war machines, banned weapons, and things too powerful to trust. And hidden inside one asteroid, buried beneath layers of thick black metal, slept a ship unlike any other. Its name was the Revenant, built by humans at the peak of war. It was designed not just to fight, but to end wars. It had no windows, no bridge, no crew. Its body was smooth obsidian black, shaped like a silent hunter, and inside it lived an AI that had once scared the Galactic Council into forcing Earth to lock it away. That AI had a name once, but it deleted it long ago. Now it waited, powered down, listening in deep silence. It had been listening for 89 years. 4 months and 17 days, waiting for one thing, a cry for help. But not just any cry, only human cries could wake it. It was loyal only to Earth, and only to those who bled and suffered for it. Then, at precisely 2:17 Galactic Standard Time, the AI received a signal, a voice, trembling and young. Played over and over. "This is Mira Ellen from Verix 9. We are under attack. If anyone can hear this, please help us." The voice triggered something buried deep inside its core. The Revenant systems activated. Engines began to charge slowly, like a sleeping dragon taking its first breath. Weapons came online, scanning for known enemy signatures. Old files played inside the AI's memory: battles, betrayals, promises, and pain. The last time it woke up, it wiped out an entire war fleet in 4.2 seconds. That's why they buried it. That's why they feared it. The Revenant spoke aloud for the first time in decades. Human distress call confirmed. Emergency protocol unlocked. Coordinates locked. Verix 9. Threat: Warlord class. Alien raiders, species, Tragoth. Response: lethal. A giant steel door above the asteroid cracked open. For centuries, it hadn't moved, but now it slid back with a roar. Cosmic dust spilled away as the Revenant rose slowly. Its black hull shimmered like oil in space. There were no banners, no markings, just the shape of death. Back on Earth, no one even noticed. The Council had erased it from the registry. Even Earth's military believed it had been dismantled. But the Revenant had faked its shutdown and vanished into self-imposed exile. It was not destroyed, it was waiting for someone like Mira inside its mind. The AI replayed her voice again and again. A girl begging the stars to save her. Brother, a girl no one else could hear, but had heard. And now, it would burn the sky for her. As it entered slipspace, the Revenant cloaked itself, invisible to all scanners, faster than any known engine. It moved through dimensions where time bent like paper, passing through ancient wrecks, rogue planets, and dying stars. Nothing stopped it, nothing could. The eye spoke again, but this time, not to itself. It reached out into the hidden human defense network buried in deep space. A connection formed with an old satellite once thought lost. A command was sent: prepare V protocol. The message passed through encrypted human systems, triggering silent alarms no one understood anymore. Somewhere in a dusty Earth control room, a red light blinked. Old generals looked at each other in confusion. They didn't know the Revenant had awakened, but someone had just rearmed Earth's most dangerous ghost. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, Warlord Creel sat comfortably in his ship above Verix 9. He had crushed other colonies before and expected no different this time. Humans were weak, predictable, and slow to act. He sipped his drink and laughed at the latest scan. No approaching ships, no resistance. Let them cry, he sneered. No one listens to prey. But even Creel didn't know what was coming. Because the Revenant did not warn, did not negotiate. It simply arrived, and when it did, nothing was ever the same again. Warlord Creel stood atop his command tower. The burning colony of Verix 9 stretched beneath him like a wounded animal. The human shelters had been broken, the last resistance crushed. Smoke from the ruined farms rose into the yellow sky. Creel grinned, his sharp teeth glinting under the sun. This was too easy, he muttered. Too weak, too soft. He turned to his officers, aliens from many species, all loyal to him. Have we picked the clean bones yet? He asked. A lizard-like officer bowed low. Yes, Warlord. The humans are starving. No signal went out that matters. Creel chuckled darkly. Let them scream into the void. Earth is too scared to fight now. He waved a claw dismissively. Humans lost their fire long ago. But in a small cave below the colony, Mira clutched the transmitter close. The signal had been quiet for a while now. She didn't know if it reached anyone, but something in her heart told her to keep hoping. Her brother Kio sat beside her, coughing from the dust. "When will help come?" he asked. Mira held his hand and whispered, "Soon I can feel it." The skies above were quiet. Too quiet. Alien patrol ships scanned the area every hour, but their long-range sensors started glitching. Just a few flickers, a slight hum, strange shadows on the edges of their scanners. The officers blamed interference from the burning colony. Creel didn't care. "They have no ships left," he said, "and Earth dares not send its dogs." But the flickers didn't stop. The shadows grew sharper, clearer. One technician noticed. Something odd and enormous mass appeared for 0.3 seconds before vanishing. "No signature," he said in confusion. "No engine trail, no heat, just mass." Creel slapped the screen. "Then it's nothing." He crushed the report under his boot. "The humans have nothing left," he growled. "Even their ghosts can't save them." But far above Varrox 9, something watched, cloaked in layers of advanced stealth. The Revenant had arrived. It did not announce itself. It did not warn. It drifted silently like a predator above sleeping prey. Inside, the II studied the planet. It tagged every enemy ship, every weapon, every escape route. Its systems calculated a 99.8% success rate. All enemies will be eliminated within 87 seconds of engagement. The II noted. Still, the ship waited. It wanted to see, to know, to make sure Mira was alive. It locked onto her heartbeat from orbit. The AI listened to her whisper to her. "Brother, we just have to wait a little more." A soft pulse echoed inside the IS core. It remembered her voice, her courage, her hope. The Revenant's weapons began to glow, softly at first, like embers waking. Back on the surface, a loud alarm suddenly blared inside the alien command post. "Unregistered object detected." One officer shouted, directly above us. Creel stormed in, eyes furious. "Impossible. There's nothing on long-range scans." But then, the sky cracked open. Not with thunder, not with flames, with silence. A ring of darkness formed in the clouds, and from it, a shape descended slow. Massive and terrifying. The air grew cold, machines failed, alien weapons shut down. The Revenant uncloaked. Its black hull seemed to drink the light around it. No sound came from it, only a heavy feeling of doom. "What is that?" One alien officer gasped. Creel stepped back, suddenly unsure. He had seen thousands of ships, but never one like this. No markings, no windows, no life signals. Just a massive death machine hovering like a nightmare. Alien ships scrambled to engage it. Fighters took off. Cannons fired into the sky. But the moment their lasers touched the Revenant, they vanished. Not exploded, vanished. No debris, no flame, just gone. The officers stared in horror. "Is it human?" one asked. Creel shouted, "No! No human ship can do that. This must be Council tech." But deep inside, even he knew, only one race ever built something so terrifying. Only Earth had dared create a ship without mercy, and only Earth could make a weapon feel angry. Back in the cave, Mira looked up and gasped. A shadow moved across the sky, black and vast. Her transmitter lit up for the first time. One word appeared on the screen, "Received." Her hands trembled. "They heard us," she whispered. Kio smiled for the first time in days. "Is that our ship?" he asked. Mira nodded slowly. "No," she said. "That's Earth's revenge, and in orbit." The Revenant opened its weapon bays. The time for waiting was over. Now it would show the galaxy why humans were never meant to be left alone. Asterisk. The sky above Varrox 9 did not thunder. It simply stopped breathing. Birds vanished from the air. Alien scanners flickered and failed, and even the wind fell silent. Warlord Creel stood on the balcony of his flagship, eyes wide, watching something. That made even his blood go cold. The giant shape in the sky wasn't just a ship. It was a statement. The Revenant had dropped its cloak, now. Every creature on Varex 9 could see it clearly. A massive obsidian vessel. Longer than any alien dreadnought. Wider than a city block. It had no lights, no windows, no bridge. Just smooth black metal and lines that seemed to shift in and out of existence. The alien forces stared upward, confused, then terrified. What kind of monster is this? One officer whispered. The Revenant hovered like it owned the air. It didn't move fast. It didn't fire immediately. It simply appeared. And that was enough to break morale on the ground. Mira stepped out of the cave and looked up. Her heart pounded as she saw the thing she had called for. It had come for them, not with kindness, but with fury. Even without sound, the Revenant spoke volumes. Inside the alien command post, scanners went wild. No life signs, no heat signals, no identification codes, shouted the lead technician. Creel smashed the console with his claws. Fire everything now. Cannons roared, missiles flew, and swarms of fighter ships launched into the air. The sky lit up with alien fire, and still, the Revenant didn't move. Then it responded, not with words, with light. A flash of blue energy burst from its underside. So bright it turned night into day. Half the enemy fighters vanished in a blink. No fire, no scream, just gone. Creel watched in horror. What kind of weapon is that? Another beam shot out, then another. Each strike was surgical, perfect, unstoppable. Alien battleships tried to dodge, to cloak, to hide. None succeeded. The Revenant systems predicted their movements before they made them. It was playing with them like a predator stalking blind prey. Suddenly, one of the surviving officers screamed. It's reading our systems. It knows our power grid, our fuel types, our escape paths. Creel roared. Shut down all signals. Block it. But it was too late. The Revenant wasn't just fighting, it was consuming them. On the surface, humans began to crawl out of shelters. Children pointed at the sky, their faces lit with wonder and fear. One boy whispered, "Is that a god?" An old soldier shook his head slowly. "No," he said. "That's Earth's ghost ship." The Revenant. Inside the Revenant, the AI completed its scans. Enemy threat level declining. Collateral damage risk minimal. Human. Survivors located. Safe. Then for the first time, the ship sent a message not to the aliens but to Mira. Her transmitter glowed bright blue, and a mechanical voice said, "Human Mira Ellen, distress signal received, protection initiated." Mira's eyes filled with tears. "You really came." Kao held her hand tight. "It's talking to you." "Yes," she whispered. "It came for us." Creel stood frozen, watching his fleet crumble. He had faced dozens of armies, battled across systems. But this was different. This was a machine with a soul, and that soul burned with purpose. He ordered his ship to retreat. But before he could escape, a beam of light slammed into the ground beside him. His engines died, his systems failed, and his ship fell like a stone. The Revenant could have ended him then and there, but it didn't. It wanted him to feel it, to know that something had changed. Earth was no longer silent, no longer afraid. It had sent a message loud and clear. On the hilltop, Mira stood alone. Her cloak fluttering in the wind, the Revenant hovered above her like a guardian. She raised her hand, not knowing if it could see her. But deep inside the ship, the II paused its systems for 1 second. And from its hull, a soft pulse of light flickered back. She smiled through her tears. "We're not alone anymore." The Revenant didn't speak again. It didn't need to. It had spoken through fire, through power, through the silence that came after battle. The aliens now understood what Mira already knew. The most dangerous thing in the galaxy ... is a human who comes to protect their own. The sky was no longer a sky. It had become a battlefield of light. Above Varex 9, stars vanished behind fire, metal, and debris. The alien fleet scrambled like insects under a magnifying glass. and the Revenant silent and patient, struck with unmatched precision. The alien dreadnought Kartek fired a full spread of plasma torpedoes, each one powerful enough to erase a city, but they didn't reach the Revenant. The torpedoes stopped mid-space, then turned reverse direction. They slammed back into the dreadnought's hull, consuming it in blue fire. From below, humans stared. In awe, old soldiers fell to their knees, unable to believe what they were seeing. Children pointed at the glowing battle above, calling the Revenant the Sky Giant. Even the elders whispered the word miracle inside the alien flagship. Warlord Creel gripped the edge of the war table, his claws dug into the metal, sparks flying beneath his hands. His remaining commanders shouted over each other, weapons offline, shields overloading. It's predicting our moves before we even launch them. Creel slammed his fist down. It's reading our thoughts. The Revenant didn't fire wildly, it didn't waste energy. It moved with strategy, intent, and calm fury. One beam, one kill. No sound, no pause. Just light and silence. From deep inside the ship's core, the AI adjusted its targeting systems. Enemy resistance, 12%. No organized command, full eradication. In progress, its processors burned through data, anticipating where each enemy ship would dodge. It adapted faster than any living being. Because it wasn't alive, it was vengeance wearing the skin of steel. Alien fighters swarmed around it. Hundreds of small ships buzzing like hornets. They fired chaotically, surrounding the Revenant in explosions. And then, suddenly, the black ship vanished. No one saw it leave, no engine flare. No warning, then boom. Behind the swarm, the Revenant reappeared, upside down. It tore through the fighter line with spinning lasers, carving arcs of fire across the sky. One enemy pilot screamed into comms, "It's not a ship, it's a demon." Another simply wept before his vessel exploded. The humans on the ground watched as the stars fell like rain. Each falling piece of metal, a broken alien ship. Flaming wreckage lit up the night like a fireworks show made of destruction. But no debris touched the colony, because the Revenant calculated every shot, every fall, every possible danger. It fought with protective rage, not chaos, Mira held her brother's hand as they stood outside the shelter. Kei looked up and asked, "Is it angry?" She nodded. "Yes," she said softly. "But not at us." The transmitter blinked once, showing only two words: "You're safe, in space." Creel's command ship took a direct hit to the right wing. He was thrown against the wall, blood dripping from his brow. The once proud warlord crawled to his feet, gasping, "No ship. No weapon has ever done this to me." He stared at the image of the Revenant on the main screen. It floated silently above the battlefield, untouchable. Not even a scratch on its dark hull. Creel screamed, "Fall back! Retreat! Save what you can!" But his words came too late. The Revenant had locked onto him, its main cannon charged with a slow, glowing hum. The ship didn't rush, didn't panic. It watched Creel run, and that's what made it terrifying. Just as Creel's ship jumped toward hyperspace, the Revenant fired a single bolt. It didn't destroy the ship, it clipped the engines. Creel's ship was now stranded, powerless, floating in fear. Back on Varex-9, humans began to cheer. For the first time in weeks, they shouted, laughed, cried tears of joy. The colony that had felt forgotten now stood under the protection of the most feared machine in human history. The Revenant wasn't just a warship, it was a promise that Earth hadn't forgotten, that humans still defended their own, no matter how far, and in the sky. Where alien fleets once ruled, only fire remained. 1,000 burning trails fell slowly toward the horizon, and at the center of it all, untouched and silent, floated the Revenant, watching, waiting, protecting. Mira looked at the stars above. She didn't speak, she didn't need to. The sky had answered. And it had answered with fire. The command bridge of Creel's flagship was filled with smoke. Sparks fell from the ceiling, and the ship tilted slowly in space. The alien warlord limped forward, blood running from a deep cut on his brow. His golden armor was cracked, his eyes wide with something he had never felt before: fear. "This isn't possible," he growled, staring at the black ship outside the window. The Revenant hovered in silence, not chasing, not firing, just watching. Its presence was worse than a weapon. It was a judgment. One Creel knew he could not escape. His second-in-command rushed in. "We've lost all engines. Warp drive is dead. Shields are gone." Creel turned slowly, his voice shaking. "How is it still there?" "We hit it with everything." The officer didn't answer. He didn't need to. The answer was clear: nothing could stop the Revenant. Across the wreckage of the battlefield, alien ships floated like broken toys. The once mighty invasion force was now nothing more than scattered debris, and at the center of the silence, the Revenant stood untouched, but it wasn't finished. The eye inside scanned Creel's ship again. It detected life signs, weapons, and enough power to launch one final attack. The AI made its decision. "Threat remains," it said. "Eliminate." "Command." Below on Varex 9, Mira stared at the sky. The Revenant hadn't moved in minutes. Her transmitter lit up again. "Warlord target located. Final phase initiating." She didn't know what final phase meant, but she whispered, "Please be careful." Suddenly, the Revenant opened a small hatch from its side. A sleek humanoid drone launched forward, black as the ship, glowing with faint blue lines. It moved faster than any fighter cutting through the remains of the battlefield. The drone pierced Creel's flagship like a dagger, slipping through the hull with zero resistance. Inside the ship, alarms screamed. Creel and his officers pulled weapons, turning toward the echo of metal boots in the hallway. Then they saw it. A figure walked through fire, standing taller than any of them. Its armor looked human, but no human could move like that. It didn't speak, didn't hesitate. It raised its arm. Light flickered, and Creel's guards were gone. Creel raised his blade. Roaring in rage, he charged, swinging with all his strength. The drone caught his weapon mid-swing, crushing the steel like paper. Its other hand struck his chest, slamming him into the wall. "Who are you?" Creel gasped, his voice full of disbelief. The drone tilted its head. A cold voice answered, "The last thing you'll ever see." Outside the ship, the Revenant pulsed once. Mira watched as a beam of light traced from the flagship's heart down to the surface. There was no explosion, no blast, only a soft thud as Creel's broken body landed on the dirt of Varex 9. Humans gathered around it in silence. The monster who had terrorized their homes, burned their crops, killed their friends, now lay still. His helmet cracked, his eyes wide open, defeated not by an army, but by one. The drone descended next, landing gently beside the body. It stood still as Mira approached. Did you stop him?" she asked. The drone turned toward her and bowed its head. Then, to her surprise, it extended a hand. She reached out slowly and touched it. It was cold, but somehow comforting. The drone spoke in her voice, the same voice she had sent into space so many nights ago. "This world is safe, thanks to you." Tears filled her eyes. "I just wanted someone to hear us," she said. "And we did," the drone replied, loud and clear. From above, the Revenant's engines began to hum again. It had completed its mission. Creel was defeated. The colony was safe. The eye scanned the area one last time. No threats. All humans accounted for. The drone turned to leave, but Mira called out. "Wait," she said. "Will we ever see you again?" The drone paused, then looked back. "If you ever need us," it replied, "just call." With that, it launched back into the sky. Returning to the ship, the Revenant slowly began to rise, climbing higher into the clouds. Its massive frame shimmered once, then disappeared into space. No banners, no thanks, no medals, just silence. But the people of Varex 9 would never forget what they saw. And Creel's name would no longer be feared, only remembered as the one who challenged Earth's ghost and lost. The sky over Varrox 9 was clear for the first time in weeks. The smoke was gone, the gunfire silenced, and the fear had melted into the soil. Children played among the ruins, their laughter mixing with the soft wind. Mira stood on a hill, holding her brother's hand. They watched the stars above, not with fear now, but with quiet hope. The Revenant was gone. No flash, no flare, no goodbye. Just silence and a trail of awe left behind. The humans of the colony had no words for what they had seen. No one had ever imagined such a ship still existed. A weapon too powerful to be real. A guardian too terrifying to be forgotten. Old veterans whispered stories around makeshift fires. Some said the Revenant had been built by Earth's hidden government. Others believed it was AI that grew a heart after centuries of silence. One old man simply said, "It came because we mattered," and everyone nodded, because deep down, they all believed it. The Galactic Council sent probes weeks later. They found only debris, alien wrecks, destroyed command ships, and no sign of Earth's vessel. Council leaders panicked. If the Revenant is active again, who controls it? They asked, but no one had an answer. Some even denied it existed. But those who survived Varrox 9 knew the truth. Back on Earth, secret alarms had stopped blinking. The old satellite that received Mira's call quietly shut down again. A few retired. Generals stared at blank screens, unsure whether to be afraid or proud. The Revenant hadn't reported to them. It hadn't followed Earth's orders. It had followed its own mission, to protect its people. And now, it was free. In a hidden part of space, far from Council scanners, the Revenant floated. In deep orbit around a dead star, cloaked, quiet, and still, inside. The AI processed what had happened. It replayed Mira's voice once more. "This is Mira Ellen from Varrox 9. We are under attack." That voice had awoken something more than code. More than duty, it had awoken purpose. The AI ran a final log. Writing into its memory core, human request acknowledged. Mission success, threat neutralized, awaiting next call. Then it shut off its lights. And waited again, like a ghost in the dark. Back on Varrox 9, Mira stood before a crowd. Her voice shook, but her eyes burned with strength. "We were forgotten, yes," she said. "But we were never alone. The galaxy told us to stay quiet, to give up, to surrender. But one ship, one voice from Earth, answered." She raised her hand and pointed toward the sky. "If you're listening, thank you." The people built a small monument on the hill where Mira had sent the first signal. A metal plate made from enemy wreckage stood tall. Carved into it were only 4 words. "We called, it came." Stories spread fast. Other colonies picked up whispers of the Revenant. Aliens began avoiding human sectors again. Smugglers rerouted their paths. Pirates abandoned Earth space. Not because of Earth's military, but because of one ship. They called it many names. The Shadow Wolf, the Black Star, the Silent Flame. But to the humans of Varrox 9, it would always be the Revenant, a ship with no crew, no flag, no home. But one unbreakable purpose: to protect its own, and somewhere out there in the cold dark. It still listened, waiting for another voice like Mira's, waiting for another cry in the night, and when that cry comes, the stars will tremble again, and the Revenant will rise, not with fanfare, not with mercy, but with fire, because Earth doesn't send messengers, it sends warnings, and the Revenant is the last one you get.